Okay, so what's going on, guys? Joey Franzo here with Ashley. How do you say your last name?
Svendbye.
What ethnicity are you? Where are you from?
Norwegian.
Norwegian, but you were born here, I assume.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? Do you lift things? Do you have animals? What's the deal?
I do lift things. I work in the place where I lift things. I do have an animal, and he's actually
Can we see him?
freaking the fuck out right now. He
I
looks
just
like
see a
a
ball.
coconut right now, so it's not.
How long have you had him?
I want to say almost a year now.
What's his name?
I got his name is Steven. I got him from my last boss, and
Was he just like, hey, I got a hedgehog. Do you want to take care of it?
Well, I guess she got it for her son, and that wasn't working very well, so she brought him to the gym.
And you were like,
he was
I
just-
want it.
Yeah.
That's
2 weeks, I was like, nah, I'm taking it.
Is he tough to take care of?
No, it's like having a hamster,
Oh,
pretty much.
So, well, all the hamsters that I've ever had when I was like 15, they all died like way before. They didn't make it to a year.
Right?
Yeah, so they like kill each other and just do random stuff. But anyway, enough about hamsters and various rodents. Ashley, so you compete in powerlifting, you compete in weightlifting, you train. Where do you train? And tell us a little bit about, because isn't that gym like significant? Isn't that like a pretty big name there that owns the gym?
It's Average Bros Gym in Vegas, and John Bros is the owner. He's a level 4 USAW coach. Probably one of a very small handful in the country. And it's predominantly an Olympic weightlifting gym. There's like maybe 1 or 2 other powerlifters there.
Now,
but it's weightlifters.
You know how in CrossFit there's like different levels of judging? Is it anything close to that, or is it like not even in the same
In
dimension?
terms of judging, I'd say it's closer to powerlifting because you still have the 3 judges, you have 3 attempts for the lifts, and that's
I
as
was
close,
referring.
I guess.
I was referring like you said he was a level 4 in CrossFit. I think there's different
no,
levels.
these are actually significant.
Oh yeah.
You don't just like pay $1,000
Yeah.
and then get a number.
If you look at like any CrossFit event, the people that judge them, they're just like regular people. Like they don't look like they. I mean, some of them don't even lift. Clearly, some of them don't even lift.
Yeah, it's basically like give me $1,000 and stay here for 2 days.
Yeah.
Here you go.
So he's legit. Did you originally do weightlifting or powerlifting?
Powerlifting
And
first.
And how did you even like get into it? Like, what made you get into powerlifting specifically?
Well, before I was just kind of running a lot, and it sucked, and nothing was happening. After a while, I was like running farther for way longer, and I wasn't happy, and it was horrible. So a friend of mine brought me to a YMCA and then started teaching me the lifts, and I didn't know if I liked them at first because I didn't know what was going to happen to me because I was under the impression I was just going to get huge.
About what time was this, like time frame wise, like what year?
Like the end of 2013.
So you were a runner, and your homie's like, yo, come lift with me. And you're like, fine,
Yes.
I'll go lift, but I'm going to get big. Because around this time, it's actually way better now. And I think you've made a video on it, but we'll talk about that a little bit later, talk about your channel and stuff. But definitely, like, because I came up as a personal trainer, and everybody, like literally everybody, every girl was like, if I touch a weight or even come within, a foot of it, I'm going to just be massive. But I think it's gotten way better now. So many more girls
Now
are
it has,
lifting,
yes.
and they're starting to see, like, I think it's like the best thing you can do, like, for your body, like one of the best.
Oh yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like it gives, it gives you what you want. Basically, it tightens your body,
Yes.
it builds your
You
muscles.
just don't know yet. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
you don't exactly. You don't know if you don't try. You know, so I think it's great that got into powerlifting. And then how long were you doing powerlifting? Like, did you compete or whatever? And then you were like, oh, I'm at this gym, I might as well do weightlifting? Or like, how did you kind of
Um,
get into weightlifting?
I was powerlifting for about 3 months at that YMCA, and then some kid came in actually one day, and it was just snatching, and everybody with us was like, "Holy shit, what is that?" So we like talked to him, and he tried to explain it to us, and then we ended up like Googling where you could learn how to do it, and there was only one gym in the area, so we signed up to that gym and like joined a weightlifting camp.
That's crazy. That's like such a spontaneous thing. Usually people see different things other than what they're doing, and they're like, oh, that sucks.
It was just so impressive looking. We were like, oh shit.
I don't know. I mean, snatching is like, I got into powerlifting because I was originally like everybody starts out bodybuilding. We're like every dude, and I was like abnormally strong at bench, or for like, I mean, I'm still like up there. So I was like, oh, like I'm better at this thing. Like bodybuilding's like, I don't like starving. And I mean, I don't know if you were like this, but like, have you ever been heavy? Like, were you heavier before?
Yes.
Like, what are we talking?
The worst I think I got was about like 30 pounds overweight.
From like where you are now, or
like it was bad.
Like
it wasn't good. It was not
good?
a good look. And then when I was running, I turned into like a skeleton person. So it was like total opposites. But yes, I have been in that corner.
Yeah, and then so it's exactly, so you were heavy and then you got really skinny, and then you kind of found like that nice medium. I can relate to that. I was very heavy, got into weights. I never really got super skinny because I'm just not a skinny like, I'm not really a skinny person. I'm like, I get bigger boned, I guess. My arms are small though. It's like my arms don't fit for this body. Like, this body is like, even there, you will not find a person that has my arm measurements and my bench press. Like, it doesn't exist. My small arm measurements versus my bench press, it won't exist. So I feel you on that. I tried to be lean all the time, and then I got into powerlifting and I became a fat fuck, and now we're not a fat. I saw you at the Arnold, right? Last time I saw you,
yeah.
Last time I saw you, I don't want this to be all about me, but I was 254 the morning I woke up for weigh-ins. I'm like 230 every day now. So
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's crazy. I have this picture with me, Tina, Katie, and Paul Ravella. I don't know if you know who he is. He does like more bodybuilding stuff. And I'm just looking at my face like, fuck. How did I let this happen? So, a lot has changed since then. But do you do any kind of like tracking your food, or you just eat whatever you want?
Now I do, because I have like a meal prep sponsor that.
Oh, go ahead and tell us about that. Tell us about that.
They're local. It's this one really cool dude named Anjo who does, like, I'm pretty sure he does almost all the cooking. And he just makes me clean foods, which is nice because I'm poor and can't cook. So, yeah.
Is it like he'll bring you Tupperwares like every day or once a week, or you have to?
So I pick up like usually once a week,
mm-hmm.
like today, and they're just like in bags per day, like of all my meals for each day.
Are you content at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Like, your
first week was hard because I went from just like eating shit to not, so a little hungry. After that, I was fine.
So you got into weightlifting. Did you ever compete in weightlifting, or was weightlifting kind of like a fun thing that you like to do, but powerlifting is like what you're better at? Because I mean, you got those genetics for strength, right? From all the pillaging.
It was more like so the camp we went to had like only 2 men's bars, and in weightlifting that's kind of a big problem because the women's bars are like significantly more narrow and they're about 5 kilos less, so you can actually get your hand around them. And I didn't know that. Yeah, so I had no idea at the time. So I'd get to like 70 kilos, which is like 154 pounds, and be like, why is the bar flying out of my hands? I can't hold on to it. So like there'd be months at a time where I just had to stop because I either didn't know what I was doing or I couldn't hold on to the bar. So looking back on it, it wasn't like a great way to learn, but it was better than nothing. So I had a few competitions, but I didn't really get too serious in it because I knew I had to fix it.
I've heard that weightlifting is unbelievably frustrating.
Yes, because it's not, you would think that strength would play like a bigger role as coming from like a powerlifting perspective.
Yeah.
It does not.
Yeah, I think you could almost have like an infinity pound squat, but if you can't like catch the weight, then what's it
because you still have to be athletic and you still need to learn all of the technique to make it actually move correctly. It's way more than you think it is.
No,
and then it just takes forever.
I don't do it, but I used to, like, all the extent of my weightlifting just was in football. We did power cleans. Yeah, but it was more like a muscle clean. I've always, dude, I'm like, I'm built for powerlifting, but I'm not. In that, I'm very tight everywhere. I'm not very flexible, but I'm flexible enough to do the comp lifts and like under control. I just have short arms, so my deadlift sucks. But you and me, see, we're catback siblings, and that
That's
but
true.
that's something. Oh man, that like people, because no, seriously, this is like a thing, and I know how frustrated you were with your deadlift, and like everybody thinks, oh, I need to make my back flat. I need to make my back flat. I need to make my back flat.
I gave up on that.
No. So like, you don't. Here's the thing.
No.
You don't have to. You don't have to do that. And I think you're probably not going to be better off doing that, because what happens is if your back is rounding, think of it as your body trying to find your happy place for the deadlift, right? It's like you want to pick up this weight. I need to like compress a little bit and give a little to get it going, right? So when you try to keep your back flat, it's almost like
there's nothing there.
It's like
there's nothing there. I'm just being an asshole. Like it doesn't work. Like, do you want me to deadlift like 350 really nice, or do you want me to kill myself and pull like 420?
Yeah,
like you gotta
dude,
pick
I remember,
one. Like, I don't care what my back looks like, and it doesn't hurt. So.
I remember your third deadlift from the Arnold. It was like you took 2 third deadlifts. Oh my fucking god! You grinded the shit out of those. Like, you were done. But that's the thing. When you have a round bag, it's like you're gonna get it up. But
it's
sometimes,
yes or no.
Like, like with Tina, I'll tell her, if you break the ground and you're already like at a certain, like if you're rounded to X point already, you're not gonna finish it. You're gonna get it up to like above your knees, but you won't finish it. But yeah, I can definitely, I have love for my catback people, my round back people. It's definitely something that I have spent a lot of time learning everything I possibly can about. And then it's so funny to me when, I'm sure you get this too, when people try to say shit to you. Especially dudes. I know dudes come at you.
Like, how's your back?
Number one thing.
It feels fucking great.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm fine, dude. Like, you don't understand. You can't pull this way. You could try, but you're gonna be fucking crippled. I could pull this way. I've been pulling this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that I just remember watching from the side. Like, you would blast the weight up which is one of the benefits to having a round back. You get it up, and then it's just finishing. So baby powder is like
shoulder.
Yeah, and then making sure you finish. But you came so close and you fought it for so long. That shit hurt me.
Awful.
That shit fucking hurt me, man. Those are, for anyone that's watching this that is thinking about trying to do the Arnold, which for 2018 there's like no info on it yet, so I don't know what's going on. But it is. Oh, go ahead and describe it to me. Like, would you compare it to like any meet that you've done? Would you say that it's fucking like it's like crazy? It's like, oh shit. Like,
there's people everywhere all the time.
That was your first one, right? In 2017, this year? Yeah, I remember my first squat last year. I thought it was my first Arnold. I went out and I just remember seeing that fucking light. The light is like literally right here on your face. And I don't really get nerves now. Like, I'm really calm when I lift. But I was fucking nervous that first time because there's like 20 cameras. There's like 3 rows of people all looking at you. There's people standing in the aisles. And it's a good thing and a bad thing. You know, definitely, like, that's not the meet where you want to fuck up. That's definitely not the meet where you want to make mistakes. But yeah, anybody who's watching this, if you want to do the Arnold, it's a great thing to aspire to get to and just like check it off your bucket list. Like, okay, I did that. Are you? So your back is good. You don't have any problems, and you seem pretty durable. Like, cause I see you. I've seen you fail squats before that you posted on Instagram, but in weightlifting, that's like it seems like they always fail. What's up with that? Is it like?
I don't know if it's more of they always fail, more so.
Well, you'll feel like a snatch or something, and then you have no choice but to like throw it forward and fall back.
So it's more of a like they're consistently training to failure instead of not always failing. And the only way to really learn how to do the lifts is to just do them over and over again. I know people are like doing stuff from like the hang or like snatch balances or all this bullshit, but the only really real way to learn is to just do them. So when you see people missing, they're just trying to learn the technique.
Do you not do a lot of stuff off blocks?
I mean,
for weightlifting,
blocks are really useful, but like all the other weird semi exercises for the lifts, like, I mean, I guess they're good to do, sure, but they're not necessarily going to actually help you with the lift itself ever. So it's just do the lift.
Yeah,
do the lift,
and powerlifting, you know, is something that I can speak on. I don't. I think people focus too much on where they're weak, and they just try to attack that area when. You're going to always be weak from that point, right? But that doesn't mean that the whole lift can't go up. So if you slow down at your knees with 350, you're going to slow down at your knees with 400, but it's still going to go up, you know what I mean? So if you just train the lift, like, you're going to get more out of it than just working a partial. You're probably going to get hurt too, cuz you're stressing your, like, on the bench press, you're used to pushing through your sticky, not like going from a complete dead stop. That's why pin presses are fucking annoying, because you're like stressing from that one area, and then you get tendonitis and all kinds of other really annoying things. So I wanted to ask you, tell me about your YouTube and what like inspired you to make it. I know it's just getting going, but like, I just like checked it out and I was like, oh shit, this is the side of Ashley I've never seen. That's kind of like the whole point of YouTube, really. It's like an extension of Instagram.
I don't even remember why I decided to make it. But, I mean, put it up on the Norris channel.
So it's not your channel, it's like you share it with other people?
I mean, not really. He just throws it up there. It was supposed to be just like me talking and him ranting, but he has to catch up on the ranting part.
Now,
but that's about it. There's no like special motive to making my YouTube.
Alrighty. Do you have any like specific like plans for nationals?
I want to go to Harry Potter Land.
You want to go to Harry Potter Land?
I really don't. I don't care about anything else.
That's in Disneyland, I'm assuming. And if you were
Yeah.
to go, what day would you go? Because everybody wants to go, and I'm like, I mean, realistically.
No. Okay, I want to go after I lift because I don't want to not have fun. Like, there's going to be garbage food.
Oh yeah, of course.
Alcohol. Like,
That would
I'm
be
not.
so dumb. That would be like the worst thing.
So like, I'm thinking like 14th, 15th, going in.
What?
I haven't been to Disney World before, so like I have a lot of stuff to do right now.
What day are you lifting? And like, you don't have any like specific numbers that you want to hit. You just want to go in there and do all right. Obviously, you probably want to win.
Well, of course I want to win. We'll just see how that goes.
How do you feel about like your training right now? Like, so far we're like what, 8 weeks out?
I mean, it's going good. The only issue I've had so far is some random shoulder problems I'm trying to fix.
With bench or what?
Yes, it's specifically with bench, and almost nothing else is hurting it. So trying to figure that out.
Like your snatches and everything, and you're good.
Yeah, nothing. It's literally just bench.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anyone in powerlifting that I know that consistently hits their weightlifting stuff like you do. So, like, do you go in and you hit your powerlifting lifts, and then you just do whatever weightlifting stuff you want for fun after? Or do you have, like, specific days where you're like, okay, today I'm just going to mess around with weightlifting, and then tomorrow I'll squat heavy? Or, like, how's that work?
I train twice a day, and I squat every day. So about 3 days is back squats, and the others are front squats. And then I'm always maxing out. So I'm just going to failure every day. And then...
Fuck. That's crazy. I did not know that.
And then there's like power cleans or snatches or some variation of a weightlifting movement as well. So I have sort of a longer session in the morning and then a shorter one later on in the day.
I did not know that you were maxing out... You're maxing out all your lifts or just your squats? Or
just squat.
Bruh,
just squat.
I mean, I always say, like, I have a bunch of videos on my channel. Actually, I haven't talked about it too recently, but how girls are very durable in that, they can, like, if you screw up and you're hitting RPE 9s, it's probably gonna help them if anything. Whereas, like, if I do that, I'll be fucking hurt, and then I need to take time off, blah, 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 blah. But the weight that you're using relative to, like, your frame, like, you can take it. Like, you can probably, that's crazy, man. I'm interested to know, like, what your volume is in a week. You don't have to tell me that, but, like,
I'm trying
in the last week, like, for example, well, let me ask you this. Are you, like, offsetting? Like, so you do, like, low bar, let's say Monday. You do back squat Monday, front squat Tuesday, back squat Wednesday, like that? Is that how you do it? Like, you flip-flop it? Or is it, like, low bar, low bar, low bar?
Sort of.
Front.
I feel like it's toggled.
It's toggled.
And then, like, back, front.
Yeah, okay. So, now that we've established that, in the beginning of the week, if you're going to hit a PR, is it going to come randomly, or is it usually beginning or end of the week?
It's random. It's random, and it's surprisingly frequent now.
Good. Go ahead.
It's also made me a lot less nervous in terms of handling heavier weight. Like, I just don't care anymore, which is great because I used to be terrified of anything over 300 pounds forever. Yeah. So
yeah, singles definitely help with that. When was the last time you did, like, a set of 8?
The last time I had, like, a really bad day and was like, I have to do an AMRAP because I hate myself. It was like,
I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Just one, though.
Yeah, I tell people. I don't tell people this, but if I didn't know someone and they went in and they're supposed to go heavy, I would say just take the weight down and get some, lighter volume in. But
Yeah.
it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because if you do too much, you're obviously beat that day. You're just gonna prolong it. Um, but yeah, so okay, so basically, if you're staggering when you squat, when you back squat, and when you front squat, uh, it's almost like front squat is not really okay. So what kind of weights are you using on fronts?
What do you mean?
Like what kind of weights? Like
Kilos?
heavy? Yeah, tell me in whatever you want to tell me in. I'm assuming that the number is going to be smaller than your back squat number, obviously.
I usually go up to between 105 and 115 kilos. So what 230 something and 250 something pounds for front squats. But I also don't go past sets of 3.
So triple is
Like
the most that you'll do.
Is the most, yeah.
Very
And that's like a lot.
I think and then so for back squat, what are you hitting?
It's usually anywhere between 150 and 165, so like 330 and 360 something.
That's pretty good. That's like 100 pounds.
Yeah.
That's like 100 pounds difference. That makes sense. So really, you're going ham on your low bar days, and then the middle days are almost like a recovery day.
Yeah, because they're heavy, but they're not heavy.
That's very. That's like a very weightlifting-ish style to do it.
Yeah, because it is a weightlifting program.
I mean, it makes sense. And then when are you deadlifting and benching?
When my coach tells me to.
And who's your coach right now?
John Bros.
So he's just doing all that. Okay, so interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I'm interested to see how he would structure your bench. But I think you're a good example. Well, before I say that, to prove that you're a good example, what are your best powerlifting numbers? So your squat, bench, deadlift, it doesn't have to be necessarily a meet PR, but to standard, good enough to where you think it would pass in a meet. If it was in a meet, great. Best squat.
360, and then bench is like 205, and deadlift is, I don't even know, I haven't maxed out in a while. Last one was 425.
So and you compete in what weight class?
57 kilos.
Which is like 125 pounds, 127 pounds, something like that. Okay, so that's good. Where are you ranked right now?
I'm not sure.
Not too sure? Maybe I'll look it up while we're doing this. But I'm just curious. If you don't want me to tell you, I won't tell you. But Ashley is currently ranked, second or third, depending. In total, you're tied. But in Wilks, you're like literally not even one Wilks point below the next person. So you're competitive is what I'm trying to say, and very competitive. And there are, all the time. And this is something that I learned when I started to realize, oh shit, I'm doing good things. I'm doing well. I don't need to really impress anyone. Is that there are many different ways to get strong, and they don't always have to be like one way. I think some ways are more sustainable than others. I do think you should have like multiple ways and kind of revolve them, depending on the time of year. But, if you're getting fucking strong doing just singles and you're not getting hurt, as crazy as it sounds, then do it. You know what I mean? Just like if we are deadlifting with round backs and we are not getting hurt, then, that's one of the cool things about powerlifting is you're always going to find, I saw something on the internet today. Somebody was like, oh, touch and go deadlifts are stupid. There are a lot of really strong people that do touch and go deadlifts, like unbelievably strong people. So yes. If someone can get strong doing something, then don't do it. I just don't want people to listen to this and be like, Ashley's really strong. Ashley maxes out every day. I'm going to fucking max out every day, all the time. I know that, do you know Damian Pizzuti?
No.
Oh man, he I think he like is a fan of weightlifting, but he doesn't do it. But he maxes out a lot on squat. He does. He actually doesn't even deadlift. He might deadlift like once a month, once every 3 weeks or something like that. I'm doing like once every 2 weeks right now, and it's actually working pretty well. Because squats and deadlifts, they use similar muscles.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have like a unbelievable squat and like a really shitty deadlift unless you're like super fat. That's like a really no, seriously, it's like a common thing. It's like a common thing. Like, how many big guys do you know that squat? They usually squat more than they deadlift. That doesn't mean the deadlift's bad. It just means, you know, it's not necessarily going to be, you know, one or the other, or they're not going to be equal. But yeah, there are many different ways to do it. Do you prefer to train this way?
Actually, yes. I like this a lot more.
Why is that?
I like it way more, actually.
Why is that?
I really like going heavier, and I also really like not doing fucking sets of 8. So the fact that I can combine the two and it works is awesome.
Is your cardio like non-existent?
I like warm up with the bar, and I am sweating. Like, I do not do cardio.
Vegas is hot though, right? I'm assuming you guys don't have air conditioning because you guys are fucking hardcore, bro.
We do have air conditioning.
Oh, that's good. That's really good, actually. That can literally change everything. That can make training like...
Well, here would die if we didn't have air conditioning. Yeah, it's too hot.
Vegas, when I used to be a USPA boy, I used to go there for Worlds. Did you start out in the USAPL or did you do USPA first?
Oh God, I did neither of those. I did like some like, I don't even remember the name. I don't even remember the name of my first meet. Some strange fed, can't remember. And then I did a couple RPS meets, and they were fun because things were green. And then
Where was that
at? Everett, Mass. Boston-ish area.
So you traveled for that. You traveled all the way there for some fancy green
place. I didn't live far at the time. I lived in Boston before.
Oh, snap. Is that where you're from? Like,
yeah.
Like, where you're from? So where you're from is Vegas, but where you're from is Boston. Interesting. Yeah. Is that where you grew up?
Yes.
Oh, man. The East Coast, I swear, is like... That's where all the lifters are at. We're growing here on the West Coast, but we're more like into your look and aesthetics and, you know, modeling and all that other stuff. But nah, I mean, if you like that stuff, go ahead and like that stuff. But like, I know that life, man. I grew up in. Let me ask you this: in weightlifting, you know how in powerlifting now everybody's a coach. Weightlifting doesn't have that, right? Like, for you to be like a legit
well, there's some, I would say not everyone is what they're talking about, but it's a lot better than powerlifting.
In that, well, because like, to say you're an Olympic coach versus I coach weightlifting, you know, if you're an Olympic coach, there's very few people that do it.
It's very,
yeah. I don't know if you would know, like, do you know how it works? Like, if you want to go to the Olympics, do you just win your national? Is it like how we do it, or how does it work in weightlifting?
I'm not super in depth on like each particular meet, but I know it's a much more detailed
like it's harder
process. There are national meets that you need to be at a certain place in, and then after that there's international meets that are mandatory that you also need to place a certain amount in, and you have to it's a time consuming, very difficult thing to
so when
do.
You qualify,
and then after that you might not even make it, because there's the Olympic trials, but I believe there's people who pick the team afterwards. So like, even if you did awesome, doesn't necessarily mean you'll be on the team. You could win all the medals that day, and no one would give a fuck.
Which would fucking suck, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what happened to Maddie Cakes? Something similar?
I think something similar. I'm not in that meet. She did very well in.
Like it was her best
but
meet.
I know they picked somebody else who ended up medaling at the Olympics. So
That's
I mean,
worth it, then.
they weren't. It wasn't a bad decision. but it gets rough, is what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of very talented people that could just be passed because
I think in the moment she was kind of like a little salty. I just remember seeing like a post that was like this big, and everybody was like, oh, it's all good. We know who's the best, whatever. But I mean, obviously, like they're gonna do what's in the best interest of,
they're gonna pick someone they know can do the best and is continuously like that. There's no misses ever. There's nothing inconsistent. They're looking for consistency and they're looking for someone to win.
Did you see they were talking about how like they might be removing some weight classes from the Olympics, from Olympic weightlifting?
I did not see that. What are they going to do?
No, I think it was because too many people.
They should be adding weight classes.
No, because too many people were getting. It's not gonna. Your weight classes are gonna stay, but the amount of weight classes that actually go to the Olympics, I think because too many people got popped, so they're like cutting down. Yeah, they're like cutting down on the amount of people they're gonna bring or TV time or something.
Yeah, that's probably something because I know like 1 billion people got banned from,
which is so crazy to me. Do you have any like weightlifting idols?
I mean,
that you like kind of look up to?
Boyanka Kostova is like my spirit animal, and she got banned.
She got banned.
Rajan. She's awesome, and she got popped.
Dude, yeah. So I know that. Like I mean, I respect weightlifting, but I'm not gonna I don't care too much. You know what I mean? I think it's I'm just so not meant for it. It's just something that I've never really had an interest to do, and I know that for example, like Bryce Lewis squats high bar, and he likes weightlifting, and he really liked Ilya, and then when
Ilya's amazing,
right?
And
but then when he got in trouble. What's
dirty.
crazy to me is like he passed his test, and then later they went back and they were like, "Yo, we got this new technology."
Yeah, they went back to old, it was
That's
bad.
That's crazy, man. That's so crazy to me, and it's like
still the best.
What does he do after that? What does this country do?
They care a lot more than
this is everything.
The rest of about weightlifting too. Like that's a job. Like they just ruined his job.
Yeah.
That's not very nice.
I wonder if I'm sure well, let me ask you, so the girl that you mentioned, was it a girl that got popped?
Yeah.
So she got popped. Do you still love her? Do you still think she's amazing?
Oh, yeah.
Or are you like, wow, you're a piece of shit?
Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. That woman front squatted 400 pounds. I don't care.
What weight class is she?
58 kilos.
Man, so that's like you doing that.
58. And she powered everything in the Olympics. Like, she'll power it. Not even a full squat. Didn't matter.
And your knees are good?
Yeah.
When you catch, what's your best, like, I can't believe I didn't ask you, what's your best, like, snatch and then clean and press? Or is it clean and jerk?
They were like 72 kilos for snatch and 95 for clean and jerk, but I haven't, since I'm doing a powerlifting meet soon, I haven't been attempting to max out for a very long time, so I'm hoping when this is over that they're higher than that.
Dude, I was watching someone today, he caught a snatch, and it's almost like, I think it was North Korea. I don't know if you saw that guy that they just posted. He did it. He caught a snatch, and they just like complete.
Was it beautiful? Because it probably was.
It was like heavy, but his knees bent so crazy and just like caught it. Like he just landed on his knees. Like if your ACLs are not flexible, they're gone. He probably doesn't.
No, they're like gumpy.
He probably doesn't have them. Like he probably. That's always like. Do you think that being having more muscle, like from powerlifting, just being a little bit more built, is that inhibiting your flexibility, you think, or?
Yes. Yes.
Would you?
I got way tighter and I had to stretch a lot more. There was actually the first year I started powerlifting, I actually destroyed my whole left leg like 5 months in, and had to rehab it for like 4 months because I had like torn something in my quad. I got chondromalacia in my knee, and then I got tendonitis like all at once, and I was like ripping my ankle off, all because I started getting really tight on one side. So it sucked, yeah. So that happened. So now I stretch all the time because fuck that.
Yeah. It's good that you do that. How long is your like warm up pre-training?
Like 20 minutes, maybe 30 tops, depending on how tight I feel. But it's mostly like hips and ankles I target and make sure my back's good, and that's about it.
Ankles are one that I think even like for powerlifters that they forget to stretch. It's like a really simple stretch too, but you know, that helps you hit depth big time, especially if you squat in flats like me. And you squat low bar in like a high heeled shoe, like an inch.
Yeah.
For like powerlifting too, like your maximal squat in powerlifting is the same way that you would do it in weightlifting, or in weightlifting I'll do high bar, right?
Yeah. So I used to squat high bar for and when I started to learn weightlifting more, it was good because that's the same way that they would squat, but I just couldn't really get very strong in that position. And then when I changed, it was like a whole different ball game. So now, since I can stay upright for the most part doing low bar, I can still do low bar, and it helps me. If I was bent over real bad, it probably wouldn't be good because then it wouldn't really be doing anything. Yeah. But
also with low bar, you're using more hips.
Which, hamstrings.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like the physique of a weightlifter and a physique of a powerlifter, and you can just kind of look at them and tell who does low bar and who does high bar only. Like the high bar people, they may not be built as much like right under the butt cheek. You know what I mean? Like they might just have nothing there because they're using like literally all quads. Yeah, they'll have good quads. They'll definitely have good quads. It's going to be interesting. I know how because I've done it before. The guy who I mentioned earlier, Damian Pizzuti, he trained with singles, so I tried to give him something similar and then taper it. And actually, the way that I taper my lifters is very similar, but way less like extreme than how weightlifters, like especially the Chinese, do it. It's like a way less, like more adapted for powerlifting, not even close to as, it's like a baby training wheels version of what they do. And I just can't believe you train to fucking failure all the time. I bet you, you train every day, like 7 days. You don't even have a rest day, or?
Sunday. I take Sundays off.
And are you like antsy that day, like I want to train, or you fucking need
it? I like eat and I lay down for a day.
That's good.
Like that is my Sunday.
That's good. Daily maxing. Are you given like set percentages, or
no?
You just fucking, I'm gonna go max out and hit 100%. That's crazy. All right, so if my phone would work, I wanted to ask you about your first meet. In the meantime, let's see Steven. Pull Steven up.
Oh no. He's being pissed is what he's doing. Will you unravel?
What does it take to get him to open up?
He doesn't like sounds he's not familiar with. He eats a lot. If I had food, maybe.
That's so crazy how he just stays like that. What does he roll? Like, can you roll him? Like, can you put?
He like kind of rolls, but
like if you were to roll him like a bowling
not
ball?
on purpose. Like, because he fell and he's fat. Like that's why he rolls.
All right, so I wanted to ask you. You did your first meet in May 2015. Well, USAPL meet, right? That you didn't. Yeah. You didn't do your next USAPL meet till fucking August 2016. So, what were you doing in the meantime? It looks like you definitely you put 50 pounds on your works, which is good. So maybe not competing all the time, guys, and maybe building your total and then coming back might be a good piece of advice. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and let you explain it. What were you doing? Did you just say fuck it? I don't want to compete right now, or I want to focus on weightlifting, or do you ever think? Oh, I know what I was gonna ask you, but I'm getting all over the place. Why did you take such a? That was like a year and 3 months off.
I know. I don't know. I think I just like didn't know what I wanted to do because I did the first one and then I just wasn't strong enough, and I was trying to. Well, in my head, I wasn't strong enough to compete again, and then I wanted to fix a lot of stuff too, and I think I just didn't really plan. And then I didn't know if I wanted to continue to lift in USAPL either. And I was doing strongman. I like randomly started doing strongman for a couple months. There was a whole thing. That happened. I did strongman, like a strongman comp that was at my gym that I got ready for in like a couple weeks. And then I ended up qualifying for nationals. So I was like, oh, okay. Sure. And then I didn't do it. I learned more strongman because
I saw you at 2016 nationals.
Yes.
So it must have been 2015 that you were not there. That was the time that you took off.
So I qualified for that nationals, and that was the nationals that I was rehabbing my leg. Like, that's when it all went.
And it's been good since?
Yeah. My left ankle, there was something, what are you doing? It was like pointing that way all the time. Like it was super tight and I couldn't get it forward. And then over time, not doing anything about it, it got super fucked up. So, maybe.
Do you think that if you were to stop weightlifting completely and just focus on powerlifting, would you see like a big bump in your numbers, or do you think that your weightlifting actually helps your powerlifting?
I think it helps because there was actually a brief time, because ever since I started weightlifting, in the beginning I wasn't learning right, and then I hurt myself, so I had to take time off. And then later on, when I was getting more information, I would take breaks sporadically from weightlifting for whatever else I was doing.
Yeah.
And not always whether or not I wanted to. And there was a time that I was just powerlifting and maybe doing a little bit of strongman, nothing else. And I got really heavy. My leverages changed. I felt weaker. I hated it. Like, I didn't understand why I was going backwards. And then when I started weightlifting again, it just fixed itself. So now I like to do both, and I will only do both. Like, I'm not gonna, like, I could.
Well, go ahead. You finish what you were saying, but
I could technically like never bench again, but like everything else, I would keep.
You wouldn't bench again because you don't like it, or because like
I just don't care for it.
But it's just something you have to do because it's one of the. Well, 200-pound bench is not bad. 205. Bench is one of those things you just gotta like kill it. Like for you, for a girl, for dudes, like most people need more, I think. But when I think about it, your weightlifting is different. Like a clean and press versus like and a snatch is not the same as like 1 rep all out squat, 1 rep all out deadlift, 1 rep all out bench. It's lighter weight for sure because it's overhead. Anything overhead is going to be lighter weight. So it's not.
But it's a lot more exhausting.
Yeah, it's tiring for sure.
A lot less.
Sorry guys.
Yeah.
Sorry. Technical difficulties. But as we were saying, you were saying that it's exhausting to do the overhead stuff, like tiring.
Yeah, because I know you think overhead and you think of like pressing something, and it's just so far from that movement. It's a lot more.
Yeah, it's
like a full body explosion. 3 is enough. Like, you're not going past 3 ever. You shouldn't.
I get what you're saying, but I guess what I'm saying is the weight that you would use in a clean or clean and press and a snatch is going to be less on your legs than an all-out maximum 1-rep squat.
Yes, to a point, yes.
Okay, so in a way, it would tax you. It would tax the organism, but it wouldn't tax you like
differently.
Yeah, it's definitely different. It's just so crazy. I admire how adamant you are about keeping your weightlifting stuff in there. I know a lot of people, including myself, including guys that I coach, that when they are getting ready for a powerlifting competition, they stop everything else. Because they want to, that's like their main thing. I think this is the cool thing about powerlifting, and I just did a video on this. You can get out of it what you put in, right? So if you train really, really hard for powerlifting, but you want to do your weightlifting, and that's what's going to make you happy, versus only doing one thing and not having the other thing, then, obviously there has to be a compromise there. If you're happy with where you're at, I think you're kind of like in a good spot, because like where you are here and where like the top one, the top person is, it's like considerable, and you would have to like give so much to get there. Whereas like you can kind of still be very, very competitive, get have fun with powerlifting, compete at nationals, compete at the Arnold, do the big meets, and still get to do weightlifting stuff at the same time. And it probably also helps you maintain keep your weight down and eat a little bit more, because you're burning more calories. Yeah, I mean, if you're only doing singles too, like it's all in the whole week. Like how much, are you doing in the entire week? But powerlifting and any barbell sport for girls is very, very important in terms of like, would you say that you built confidence and it changed kind of like your personality a little bit? Being
yes,
from like
absolutely.
super introverted to like, dude, you made this one video. I forgot, what was it? The one about like shit people do in the gym or say in the gym, and I was like, I had never seen you like that, which was I thought it was funny, and I thought some of it was true too. You're not gonna blow up and become a fucking Hulk, ladies. You're probably gonna be.
That's the first thing we go to though, because it's scary. Like, you don't know anything about it. You just know this one horrible thing.
It's really fucking hard to build really muscle, honestly, for most people. So for them to even think that, dude, I know some girls, they just can't. Like, they just don't. They're just small and petite, and that's it. And they don't respond to training. Granted, I know like 2 guys like that in my whole life. Like, they just don't respond. They can lift all they want. Nothing. Like, it's not gonna happen. But I hope that people see you, and they see that they see you're lifting. They see, they listen to this. They hear about how you used to be heavy. You got into barbell sports. It helped develop your, I guess, mind and body. It sounds so fucking like cliche and cheesy, but it's true. I think it's just really, really important to stress for women, especially, like what lifting heavier can do for you. I can't really think of a single bad thing. It's like a controversial thing, but sometimes you have like a very young lifter that's really heavy, like super, super heavy, and they're good at powerlifting, right? So they get encouraged and to do that, but at the same time, they're very heavy. So being young, especially like as a girl, and being heavy, people might be nasty to you. So it's kind of like is powerlifting a positive if they're continuing, to promote being super overweight, or is it a negative in that sense? Or is powerlifting good regardless, and they just need to watch what they eat? It's an interesting thing. That's definitely like a whole nother thing. But I think for girls especially, don't be afraid of weights. Where can people find you? And then before we go, like everybody always has a hashtag. Like there's always some hashtag that they're gonna tag in the bottom, so we got to come up with that. So where can people find you?
I am on Instagram, Smashly Svendbye.
Did you change it? Oh, it is that.
No.
I'm tripping. We got to come up with the hashtag. Should we? Let's do this. Let's go. Hashtag Steven in the comments if you made it this far. Let's see Steven one more time before we go.
Oh no.
Let me see my man Steve.
Okay,
Can we see your face, Steve?
Hear him?
I see a nose. I see a nose.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
He's like scared of everything. He's like kind of reacting funny.
I don't know if he's seen
I can see him.
a lot before.
Alright, hashtag Steven in the comments. Nice. Alrighty, Ashley, well, I really appreciate you coming on. Trying to diversify and get more girls on here. You know, to hopefully inspire other girls to get into lifting. And Steven, I appreciate your, contribution to tonight. You made this what it is, and I'll be looking forward to seeing your name in the comments below, Steven. Alrighty, say bye to everyone. Wave. Steven, I'm talking to Steven, not you. Steven, come on, man. He has no hands, apparently. Nah, alright. Alright, guys. See you guys in the next one.